Hello everyone, this is Henry here. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. So in today's live stream, I'm going to be talking about the crypto market. What is the crypto market doing? More specifically, we're going to start with Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Where are we headed? Are we headed to the downside, or are we anticipating for a potential move to the upside or to the downside? And the first thing I usually do in my analysis every single time I do this same thing, and the reason I do this is because it gives me an overview, an understanding of what the overall market direction is going to be. And that is me going from the highest time frame. The reason I go from the highest time frame is I need to understand what is the overall market direction, the overall market structure. Are we going to go to the upside or to the downside? And if the moment I have an understanding of the market structure from the 12-month time frame, it makes it a lot easier for me to be a buyer or seller. And as you can see very clearly, this right here is massively bullish, and I wouldn't have any reason to be bearish on Bitcoin. I mean, consistently going to the upside. That's what I'm anticipating to see on Bitcoin, because overall, you can see how impulsively we've been going to the upside, and you can see how we came down and mitigated this inefficiency. And also, this last down close candles right here, that was also another key level that price nicely came down into. And after it came down into that key level, the next thing we saw was an expansion to the upside. So after an expansion, there's going to be retracements. And as you can see so far, we had this retracement back into that position, another expansion. And this other expansion we had went straight to break above this overall high. Resting right here, after that break above the overall high, the next thing I would like to see would be a retracement into an inefficiency or a fair value gap, and nicely price came down, mitigated this inefficiency. After that mitigation, the next thing I would like to see would be a continuation move to the upside. And if we look right here, we have low resistance liquidities resting right here. Now, these low resistance liquidity zones, these are key levels that price can easily run above this key level without encountering so much resistance. And so far, you can see lined up beautifully. I wouldn't be surprised to see price expand to the upside to rally above these low resistance liquidities. And if we go to the daily time frame to better see the overall structure, the structural low, structural high, right here we have the structural low and the structural high on the daily time frame. And if we use our Fibonacci from that low to the high, you can see how nicely this right here is equilibrium, and equilibrium resting right here. And you can see nicely how price came below equilibrium. Below equilibrium, we have the discount zone, came in there, accumulated, and we're seeing a rally to the upside. Now, let's see, for me to be a buyer from this below equilibrium, which is the discount, for me to be a buyer here, I'd like to see number one, a run on liquidity. And right here, we have a run on liquidity, previous low, external run on liquidity. So this now makes this area a high resistance liquidity. So price coming down here, I would anticipate for this to be a strong support zone to drive price to go into a low resistance liquidity zone, which is this key level resting right here. And look how nicely price came down, used it as support, continuing higher. Now let's check if to see what it is, a 30 minutes break of structure after taking that liquidity, external range liquidity. And right here you can see after we took the external range liquidity, very nicely price broke structure very nicely right here, and you can see that very clearly. We broke this high, we have a high right here, and then that high got violated here. After breaking that high, my only interest for buy positions will be the last down close candles. Right here would be my interest for buys. And let's see if price came into that position. You can see after break of structure, we came down there, mitigated it the first time. And let's go into the 4-hour time frame to see a swell. And on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that price still came back into that position the second time for a reaccumulation, and that position is still resting at discount. And after that, the next thing we saw was a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame. Very nice break of structure right here. You can see that. And after break of structure, we came back for a retest. This last down close candle before breaking this structure, we came back, retested it, and then expanded higher. Now, the next thing we're going to do now is to watch the swing highs and see how price is going to violate those swing highs, break above it, come back for a retest. And right here you can see we broke above this swing high right here, and we would like to see price come down into the last down close candle. And right here, this is the last down close candle, and look how nicely price came down into it. And what do we see right here? What we see right here, run on liquidity, making this key level high resistance liquidity. So if for any reason we see price come down to this position, we're still going to anticipate for here to be a strong support zone to still drive price to continue higher. And so far, as you can see, we've actually broken another significant structure right here. So anything that takes price to the downside into this position, let's say for example, after this break of structure and close, we see price come down here. If we see price come down here, we'll still be looking for an opportunity to buy Bitcoin to potentially continue to the upside. So right here, this would be a perfect area for me. If I do see price come down there, I won't be surprised to still see a potential support. Price use this key level as a potential support zone to continue higher. So maybe we mitigate here, maybe it's the inefficiency, or maybe this Beverly gap here. Any of them, price could decide to come down there, mitigate it, but it needs to be inside this key zone, which is the 64K zone. And this is the strong low. I wouldn't expect price to run this liquidity because this is a high resistance liquidity. There's already an external run on liquidity, so I would anticipate for here to be a strong support zone to then potentially drive price to continue higher and potentially taking us to an all-time high on Bitcoin. So this is my analysis, what I'm anticipating to see on Bitcoin. I really wouldn't be surprised to see a new all-time high on Bitcoin before the end of the year. So we're still in October. So that is my analysis, and let's take a look at the other like the total crypto market cap. Let's take a look at what it's doing, and also the analysis on that as well. So right here we'll have the total crypto market cap. I'm just going to wipe my chart for a second. And the same thing, when I want to do an analysis, I always start from the same time frames, always from the bigger time frames. And the reason for this is it makes it a lot easier to understand what the market is doing and how to get into the market, whether to be a buyer or to be a seller. And right here you can see very clearly, we have a very bullish market. Price has consistently been on a bull run, and look how nicely we came down into this Beverly gap right here, tapped it a little tiny bit. We tapped it a little tiny bit right there. So let me use this the magnifier to make it. So right here you can see how we tapped into that Beverly gap very tiny bit. So after that tap, the next thing we saw was a reversal. So let's take a look at the 3-month time frame. So this is how I know what the total crypto market cap is going to be on the bull run. That is why I use crypto total market cap. This gives me the understanding of whether we're going to see a bull run on Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana, Cardano, and all the rest of them. If I'm anticipating to see a bull run, I want to do an analysis, a top-down analysis on the crypto total market cap to better ascertain, is this going to be bullish? Is this going to be bearish? And if this is going to be bullish, that is when I start to look for altcoins that I'll anticipate to go to the upside, altcoins that has high potential for growth. And I'm going to do a series it's going to be a series of live sessions. I'll try to do this more consistently, and the series is going to be based on how to find crypto projects that has high potential for growth. And the first thing is usually their use cases, and then I'll show you the major things I look out for, both the market cap, volume, and the analytics as well, and to see whether there's high volume of institutional buyers going into the market, and also for you to know whether it's just mostly retail that are holding that crypto. as well, and the reason why that crypto could be a high value asset in the future, and also go through technical analysis, how I do the technical breakdowns from the higher time frames and then scale down to the daily. Because it's a long-term investment, it's usually better not to go below the daily time frame unless you're looking for intraday setups for a trade idea. But besides that, if I'm looking for a long-term investment, I usually don't go below daily. I preferably stop at weekly, but if I go down to daily, it's just if I'm looking for a break of structure for me to now say, okay, this is a go, look for a buy and get in. So that will be the next series that I'm going to be doing. So stay tuned if you want to be a part of and get all the knowledge I'm going to share with you. And that's not all the things I've learned from 2017 that I've been in the crypto space. Every single thing I've learned, I'll share it in that series of live sessions. So click the subscribe button and also click the bell, so the notification bell, so whenever I go live, it's going to notify you and let you know, and you can be a part of it and always get all the information you need to understand how crypto moves and how to make the best out of it. So back to crypto total market cap. Like I said, this is what I used to know whether I'm going to be a buyer or a seller in the crypto market. This is literally the indicator for a bull market for the crypto total market cap. So now, as you can see, this is bullish, massively bullish. Next thing, I'm going down to the monthly time frame. And on the monthly time frame, you can see how after we mitigated this key level, we rallied to the upside. The next thing we saw right here was price coming down into this fair value gap right here. And after that mitigation, you can see how we failed to close below that fair value gap, showing a lot of buying momentum. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to the weekly, and on the weekly time frame, as you can see on the weekly time frame, there's also a present fair value gap. And also on the weekly time frame, you can see clearly we have this low resistance liquidity resting right here. The reason I like to outline this low resistance liquidities is because I use the low resistance liquidity as a take profit position, and I use high resistance liquidity as a stop loss position. So if I'm anticipating for price to go to a direction, I want to see an external run on liquidity, creating high resistance liquidity, and then I'm anticipating for price to go to a low resistance liquidity that has no external run on liquidity. So right here, you can see already we have an external run on liquidity here, creating a high resistance liquidity. So that means price coming down here, I'm anticipating for this key level to be a strong support zone, and then I want to see price edge higher into this low resistance liquidity because there's no external run on liquidity right here. So if there was an external run on liquidity before price dropping, I wouldn't really be so much interested in this going to the upside. But because there wasn't any external run on liquidity here, I'm anticipating for price to go this way, and there's already external run on liquidity here, so I'm not anticipating for price to go below this low. And look what happened after we went to the downside. We rallied, mitigated this fair value gap. We came back down into this consequence encroachment, simply the 50% of the weeks. If we use the Fibonacci to measure the 50% of this week, you can see how nicely price came into that 50% right there. And that was an area of support, and then price rejected and reversed to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised to see these highs get taken. And this is one indication that the moment we start seeing this explode, breaking above these highs, that is the perfect time to anticipate for a market bull run on the altcoins. So the altcoins, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of them creating new all-time highs potentially. A lot of them are really so down, and most people are not interested in crypto right now. And this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go and start buying random cryptos. And the main thing is to understand the ones that has potential for growth, do the fundamental analysis, do the technical analysis. Everything needs to align. If one doesn't align, then it's not a good investment. That is just how I see it. Everything needs to align. Yes, sometimes the one or the other wouldn't align, but it still do well. But that is now just gambling. If you don't want to gamble, you just want to do this right way, the best thing to do is to wait for everything to align. If you don't know how to do this, I'm going to be dropping our free Telegram group. I'm going to drop the link on the description of this live. So make sure you click on it, go into the free Telegram group, ask your questions. I always drop videos there. I always engage with the audience in there. I answer their questions. I make sure everyone gets the best of my knowledge. So this is what I'm anticipating to see. And also don't forget, we also have this overall low resistance liquidity here because there was no external run on liquidity above this previous high. So price came down up here and then failed to create a new high. If we had taken liquidity from this previous high and dropped to break significant structure, I wouldn't be interested in buys anymore. But because we didn't break above it and we came back down, use this 5 gap as support, I'm anticipating to see a liquidity run on this all-time highs potentially. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's pretty much going to be sooner than later, as just as much as I'm seeing what the market is doing right now. So that is my analysis on the total crypto market cap. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll be there to answer your questions. You can also join our free Telegram, ask your questions right there. Turn on the notification bell. The new series I'm going to do specifically on crypto trading, crypto investing, it's going to be game changing for a lot of you who don't know how to invest in crypto. You need to learn how to do this the right way so you're not following anyone's recommendation of cryptos to buy. All you have to do is learn how to do the analysis yourself, go into the market, go into crypto market cap, look for assets that are solving real world problems. Yes, there are a lot of meme coins that are going to triple and quadruple your money, but at the end of the day, a lot of them are not really good investment for the long term. You're looking for something that's crypto is a very risky investment. Investing in crypto is risky. So imagine investing in an asset class that is risky and now putting your money in something that is even way riskier. That is just you gambling. I'm going to teach you a lot of stuff in this series. Click the notification bell. Like I said, I'll teach you how to understand the market structure. I'll teach you how to do fundamental analysis. And after that, we're still going to dive into Forex for people that are interested in Forex as well. Click the notification bell. We'll also do a series for the Forex trading lovers. You're not going to be left behind, I can promise you. I'll do a series on how I trade, how I break down the charts, the market, and how I enter using smaller time frames, entries, both for Forex, both for cryptos. I'll do that.